Come join the Chira Project. Become a full-time family member for life. Join the madness and where things just might get weird. Now, here's your host, Chira.
Hey everyone, I'm Chira.
And I'm Richard Zong.
And welcome to
the Chira Project.
Sweet deal. Yes, we are back in full effect with another episode. You guys know the routine. You know where I'm going right now with this. You're getting a recap of the week.
Woohoo!
So go through the process. Speaker to the ear to the speaker. I shouldn't have to say it this many times. You would figure it out by now, I hope. Anyways, let's get to it. Last week, we had an awesome show. We went over to Sandman, the iconic man of dreams, who either let you sleep in peace or never let you sleep again. Now, next week, we're going to have an awesome show. We're going over that stuff that scares you even a little more than the Sandman himself. The bumps, the nicks, the pings, the cracks, the knocks. Yes, phantom knocks. That's what we're going over. Next week's episode about when you're sleeping. You guys, I'm pretty sure you guys have all had that situation when you were a kid and you heard the tree branch outside your window scratching its glass, waking you up. You're like going, it's something outside. And your parents are like going, shut your butt up, go to bed, it's the tree. That's the type of stuff we're talking about next show. It's not your imagination, it happened for real. Your parents were just being mean to you because they wanted to sleep.
After that, we have our season finale for the Chira Project. The Chira Project won't be on radio at all anymore. We will explain all that on the 28th when we give you guys an awesome episode of Alice in Wonderland.
Of course. What butter? I said butter. Awesome. What better way than to end the awesome ride we have had with y'all with an iconic episode like that? Alice in Wonderland, Bedtime story series, the Chira Project. That's going to be awesome.
But you can always check the Chira Project on YouTube as the Chira Project TV. We will upload videos every week on our Facebook. But
until then, we're going to dive right into it with this episode. What are we going over on this, Chira? Because you were able to do more research than I was, because I've been at work.
It's none other than Shadow People.
Ah, yes. That stuff's awesome. Like, anyone who says they haven't seen any, you're lying to yourself. I'm going on record saying that. You a liar. You know damn well you saw something, you just talked yourself out of it.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so let's kick things off. What is the origin of shadow people? Do you really know what the origin is? Maybe not. But a shadow person, also known as a shadow figure, shadow being, or black mass, is an alleged paranormal entity. It is believed by skeptics to be a type of hallucination where the subject perceives a patch of shadow in their peripheral vision to be a living humanoid figure. What? Kind of creepy, right? However, paranormal researcher Heidi Hollis has expressed the belief that shadow people are malevolent, supernatural entities. Now, Richard, any comment on that?
How can I word this? Let's see. Let's do this here. Malevolent, I can see it happening because it's all circumstantial to maybe how the person or this entity or being, for the sake of saying it that way, how they passed over, how they crossed over, how they were in their living world, how they are in their afterworld now. But the first part of that you were talking about was it was interesting because I can give a little bit of credit due there. Like I can see where someone says, you were just sleeping and you're waking up, you don't know what you saw. I can only give that viable credibility if you were, I guess you can say, if you were like in a really good deep sleep, like you were having like some good sleep, and when you wake up, everyone has, if you have had a good night's sleep, our radio wave listeners can back this up, and you get up and you have like that time period where you're waking up, it's hard for you to get up, it's hard for your brain to kick off and start, you're still groggy, your eyes are trying to like your whole brain's trying to calibrate to the fact that you're waking up. In that momentary like period, I can see how your brain can misconstrue you seeing something like that. Like I can understand that. That does sound sound viable and relatable. Like, it's like if you're sitting there and you're just rubbing your eyes, you're like, oh my god, I can't believe it's so early in the morning. And your eyes are barely peeling open. I can see where you can think you saw something because your brain hasn't fully going, wake up world, we're on our way. So that I can see happening. And the malevolent part, well, that's a definite, because everyone knows good people pass away, bad people pass away, and it's all that residual energy depending on how it, where it goes, how it's displaced. So it's that type of situation.
Right. So moving on to the next question. Who are these shadow people? Does anybody know? Probably not. So let me give y'all the lowdown. Okay, so the term shadow people is a catch-all for entities that exhibited certain characteristics, but their origins can be widely different. They are different kind of shadow people, and for these different kinds of shadow people, I will go over the definition behind the name a little bit later on, but they're benign shadows, negative shadows, red eye shadows, hooded shadows, and the infamous that I even saw when I was 7, and it could probably be this guy. It's none other than the Hat Man.
I read a little bit about that when I was trying to catch up on some of the research before we did the show. And the one thing that really tripped me out as you were explaining all this is, even though we're describing it to the fans and the listeners, you guys got to understand something. When we do this research, sometimes we're really like, wow, it's really in depth. There's a lot of information on this. It's really cool. And then there's times where it's so sporadic and it's so not clued in. It's really hard to find. I mean, I must have looked at about 20 to 30 different websites trying to find information. And like we talked about before we started the show, even though we mentioned Hat Man to you and we mentioned all these shadows, which I was like, man, there's all kinds of different types of shadow. There's a shadow negative, shadow positive, like every freaking color of the rainbow type shadow. But there was no definite answer of an origin for any of these. Like, people said, oh, I've been researching this for 50 years, whatever, but there hasn't been a solid and definitive, at least on our part, from us doing our research, there hasn't been a solid or definitive origin focal point where we can go, okay, this is where it happened, this is when they were created. I mean, we scoured these websites and no one knows. This is just, it's one of those really creepy, awesome paranormal type things where they just the stuff popped up out of nowhere. They literally, you can just say it literally casted a shadow from out of nowhere.
I kind of answered that question, but I'll get to that a little bit later. Moving forward, as I was reading more, I got to realize that most of the encounters people had with these shadow people were harmless. Like, these shadows are tormented and just passing by in a research for something or someone. Could it be aliens, or could they be working for somebody? Who knows? Who knows?
Well, I'm just saying, some of the articles we were looking at, they hinted to the fact that there's a possibility that, the malevolent, not the good energy spirits, you would say, but the bad energy spirits, that they're actually working for, I guess you can say, a so-called general or foot soldier or someone who's put into the position of power, you guess. And that's where part of what I was reading, they were referencing to Hat Man. They believe Hat Man, the figure that you see as a shadow that looks like he's wearing a hat, almost like the silhouette of the wrestler, the Undertaker, has the whole crazy hood and everything.
Right.
But it's when you see that figure, you know trouble's afoot, because he's the main presence that if you see him, that's letting you know that's a malevolent energy, because he has his other, I guess you can say, golem-style shadow figures walking on the walls. They're like the little pawns. They go out there and do the filling.
Minions.
Minions. There you go. And malevolent shadows, they solely drive on, their purpose is to entice fear on you, because you being afraid is what fuels them, and it's what empowers them. And then, they absorb all this from you, and I think, they're doing it like a collective type thing. They absorb all this fear. They find out these things about, okay, that person's scared of this person's scared of that, and they take this all back to the Hat Man. That's one theory. Another part of it is he could be a malevolent spirit, you did somebody wrong in your past afterlife or something, and they're still paying, the debt on the ancestry or the bloodline or something. So it has several different ways to go about it, several different pathways of how to detail and break it down. But the good energy side of it's really cool. Those are the type of shadows that you guys guys who are listening, you shouldn't really freak out about it because it could be a guardian angel who's there with you, who made the decision to stay within the confines of being between going to the light and staying away from the dark, that he's like purposely keeping himself in the middle because he's doing his job to protect you, to watch over you. It could be a past family member, past loved one. It could be a complete strange energy in the house that may be happy at the fact you brought in your presence, which was a better energy than what they were going through, and you've brought them harmonious peace by doing so. So again, it's like from the older episodes me and Kira went over, it's all the matter of energy. Everything's connected by energy. People are a little crazy religious. Oh my God, I'm not talking bad about religion. I don't care what y'all say. It's all energy. Good energy feeds off good energy. Bad energy feeds off bad energy. Neutral energy, well then neutral energy kicks ass. So neutral energy is like, whatever, man, I'm just gonna chill. Neutral energy for me is always like, yeah, I want to go hang out with them because they don't care. They're just gonna kick it. What do you think, Kira?
It's definite possibilities. I mean, there are so many theories out there. It's crazy. But get this. There was no contacts with them, but the constant unpleasant feeling and fear. For the type of red-eyed and negative shadows, there are stories written where people felt like they are feeding on their fear. Now that's very interesting. And it gets even more weirder. Shadow people, maybe demonic entities, ghost interdimensional travelers, or other denizens. Who came up with this word?
They do it purposely.
I mean, whoever wrote this stuff for us to read, seriously? Okay, it's D-E...
Wait. What part of the blog are you pulling this off?
I'm on the who part.
Let me see. I'm gonna, you know me, I always try to give these words. Pause for one moment, our listeners. I gotta give this word a try. I always like to do this. Where's that damn word she's looking at?
It's D-E-N-I-Z-E-N-S.
Oh, okay. Wait, hold on. I'm almost there. Hold on.
This is so embarrassing. I do apologize.
It's not embarrassing. It's freaking awesome. Okay, you're on the who. Okay, now wait. How many lines in?
From the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. From the bottom.
6. That's
dun 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 dun
okay,
dun.
but all right. I found the word. Yes. Heck yeah. Hey, don't judge. This stuff's awesome. It's all live too, which kicks ass.
Hashtag real life problems.
Exactly. Shadow people may be demonic, entities, ghosts, interdimensional travelers, or
other.
He's right. This word. I just looked at this word and my brain did that. You know, when your dog's confused, my brain went.
See, Retro doesn't even know this stupid word.
I'm gonna go with how you said it. I'm gonna say Denzins too, or Denizens, whatever.
However you pronounce
Zens.
Yeah, however.
Denizen. I'm gonna say it all ghetto. Denizen.
However you pronounce that stupid word. Mm-hmm. But anyways, moving along, yes. Or other that fucked up word.
She did it again. I love it. Den-Izens. I said it again. Den-Izens, and I ain't gonna say it anymore.
Of the dark realm we call the unknown. Regardless of their label, shadow people could very well be more than just one type of being. Brad Stryger, author of Shadow World, I suggest you guys go pick it up and read it.
Sounds intriguing.
Has studied the paranormal for more than 50 years and agrees there are many possible explanations for shadow people. And he quotes, "I would say that experiencers are seeing all the above and giving them /it the name of shadow people." Now, okay, let's just pause and think about what Brad Stryger just said.
Wait. Hold on. Before we get into Brad.
Okay.
Before we get into Brad, I'm going back to Denizen. No, just bear with me for 1 minute. This hard to pronounce word, once we attempted to pronounce it, guess what, people? You know what it means? Unknown! The word is so hard for its own self, it said, I give up. I'm just... No matter what way you say it, it's unknown. Why go through that? Why couldn't you have just said unknown in the first place? That's wrong!
Hey, the writers who write the material for the Chira Project is fucked up.
That's why at times I even get mad at the English language, which is a native language of mine. I was born, taught it, the whole thing. But you know what? There's other languages out there that are kind of awesome when you think about it. Because I've talked to friends and I've told them a word and they didn't understand what it meant in English, so I told them the meaning. You know what I get a reply with, Kira?
What?
There's no word for that in our language. There's no word for that in our language. What? What do you mean there's no word for that in your language?
What?
No, it's too complicated, so we just left it out. Oh my God!
I think it's time to go back to kindergarten or preschool.
I'm just saying, anytime a country's sitting there trying to figure out a word for something, and they all decide collectively, they just go, nah, it's too hard to even pronounce. We'll just leave it out. Genius! Freaking genius! Love that! Denizens, get out of here, you're unknown.
Time to go back to grammar school.
Yes. So I'm sorry for that detour. It must have been done because we went through all that hellish nightmare to find out the word means unknown. What? But now to go back onto what Brad said, please, Kira, take it away.
Yes. From what Brad said, he could be, what's that word? A skeptic. There we go.
There you go.
Yes, because of what, Brad said. And then let me repeat what Brad said. I would say that experiencers are seeing all of the above and giving them/it the name of shadow people. Now tell me, doesn't that sound like a skeptic to you?
It doesn't sound like a skeptic to me. It sounds like someone who realizes the fact that it's true, and like what we spoke about before we started the show, and I pointed it out to you. He's pointing out that everyone in a general sense experiences them, but not everyone owns up to the fact that they did. That's what he's saying there. Everyone has seen them,
but nobody is stepping forward and saying, "Oh yeah, I saw them."
People are going, "Yeah, I saw it," and risking being called freak and weirdo and abnormal person in the community.
Right.
And the other people are like going, "I didn't see a damn thing, because if I don't acknowledge it, and that's not going to scare me, it'll still scare you, because you're going to still sit there and go, I ain't seeing nothing. Nope, it's not there, it's not real. It can be right in front of you, breathing on you. No, I don't see nothing. Not going to acknowledge it. I know it's there." You're taking the smart way out by not acknowledging.
The time that he actually acknowledges it is when he gets thrown across the room.
Yeah, that's when you get up and go, "Oh, you ain't playing. All right, you want to get there." I'm just saying, from my point of view, is you pick me up, throw me across the room. Oh, it's home, man. I was comfortable in my bed. You went and threw me out of my warm, comfortable. Oh, you about to get an ass whooping.
All right, so moving along to the next question. When was shadow people born? Oh, this is a good one. Honestly, I mean, I had to answer this question as best as I can because there was no research for this question. So to the best of my knowledge, I answered, this question, and I said, honestly, no one knows for sure when shadow people were born or when the first one to exist. My theory on shadow people are just regular people like you and me that have passed away and have not moved/gone into the light.
Insightful, I like. Well, okay, now with me, because I gotta do my thing, and this is strictly for comic value right now. So again, if I get any hate mail, I'll go suck a lemon. But for me, my hypothesis, here is another word I can't even pronounce.
Hypothesis.
No, it's the other one. Hypotheses.
What the fuck is the difference?
One's a little harder to say, and it's more educated if you can pull it off. And obviously, we both effed it up. But nonetheless, my hypothesis, however which way it's supposed to be pronounced, is this for our religious listeners. And here's your one credit so you can rejoice and have a very merry Sunday. I will say the first person to cast a shadow and its point of origin, even though I don't know the exact date, is in the book, I believe, of Christianity, whichever one you guys have, Book of Mormon, whatever volume or revise or reprint you guys have out there. Let me just say that like that. And I'm pretty sure you've heard it referenced, Kira. They said when God said, "Let there be light," he turned the light on the world, he created the sun. Well, guess what he did in the same process? The man flipped the switch, turned on the light, and for him being in front of the light source, he casted the first shadow. So that's mine right there. He was the originator of the shadow because he created light. You're getting your credit point. Go say freaking hallelujah and leave me alone.
And it even said this in the Bible, right?
I'm just saying, I'm taking a coin from there and putting a little comic spin on there. If he was the one who created light by creating getting the sun, then he must have been in front of it at some point, and he casted a shadow. So therefore, Jeebus, or Jesus, as I would like to be called, casted the first shadow because he went and created the sun and turned the lights on. He was also the first electrician. Boom, you got your information.
Yep. So moving along to the next question, where did shadow people come from? It is difficult to say that shadow people really are. Some believe them to be ghosts or spirits. Some say they may be time travelers or hopping over from another dimension. They may even be aliens. They may be guardian angels, demons, or perhaps they are just some sort of secret service that watches over us like a big brother from an overlapping dimension. It is anyone's guess why they are what their job is. Most people tend to report them as watching people while they sleep or simply walking up and down hallways. Some of these shadow people even stand in the corner of the room or behind doors doing absolutely nothing but standing there, some looking at you and some not. How freaky does that sound?
You freaking shadow pervs.
My point exactly.
I swear. Pervs. Shadow pervs, man.
Now, what are you gonna do?
Here's my favorite one, though.
Okay.
Why is it always the corners?
I don't know.
Why is it always a freaking corner?
I don't know.
Messed up, man.
I mean, okay, my thing is, should I be worried getting undressed and going into the shower?
Shadow figure in the corner staring at you. I don't know, Kira. That sounds a little freaky to me. I mean, if you know there's nothing else in the room and you're getting changed and there's going to be a time period there where you're going to be possibly naked for a few seconds because you're switching underwear, whatever the case may be, and there's a shadow figure in there in the corner watching you. Okay, one, that's going to be creepy as whatever. Now, two, if you know there's nothing else in the room, you're getting undressed, but you can, your brain's telling you there's something over in that corner. I'm pretty sure it's a shadow figure. You're not paying attention to it at this point because you don't want to scare daylights out of yourself and cause a heart attack at your young age. You're getting changed. But if you see a freaking flash, you know, hey, knock that stuff off, man. You're gonna be on realworldshadowrealm.com. Freaking camperv. They're gonna have you like all up on their form of the internet. Like real life person changing, caught from dark corner. What? Are you freaking kidding me?
Watch, I bet you anything that these shadow people have some sort of cameras watching our every move, you know, getting undressed, going into the shower, making love, and putting it up on their secret website for all of their pervy little friends to watch.
You dirty, nasty shadows. It's just nasty. Just perverted.
Yep.
Just wrong.
But you know what? Here's a more interesting question. Why do some shadow people go from good to evil?
Well, I've said it's because I firmly believe it all goes back to the stuff we talked about earlier in the shows we've done. For me, it's all about how they've passed and how their energy decides to go. Either they go up, they go down, or because of stuff, you know, kind of like the movie The Crow, because there was so much unsettled business, whether good or bad, that hasn't been done. Their aura and energy is so strong that it has to remain here to finish what it was doing in order to gain the full enrichment of enlightenment, or in this case it could be dark force, to where it feels content enough with completing what it needs to do before it crosses over or goes under, whichever the case may be. I think myself that's why that happened, because they have so much undone that they can't rest correctly without completing that.
Well, get this. I mean, I don't believe that there are demons, but some may be evil. Some seem to be confused and they may not even realize that they are in fact dead. I've come across a lot of ghosts who thought that they were actually here but didn't realize that they were dead until I told them that they're dead. They didn't believe me. And I said, okay, try to pick up this book. They couldn't pick it up. Go look at yourself in the mirror. What do you see? Nothing.
I would have went one better than that. I would have let me Google your obituary real quick, you smart ass. Let me pull up your date, the time of death and everything. I'll show you.
Yeah. They may not be as much evil as they are angry. They may be trying to talk to us and we can't hear them. If so, that may be what people are thinking is evil. I have never heard of a single report that a shadow person has ever harmed anyone. If you know of a single documented case of a shadow person harming anyone, get in touch with me. I would like to know the story and where it happened.
Yeah, well, like you had just mentioned, you know, that either they don't know or they can't understand the reason why we can't understand them. Okay, one, it's messed up if they don't know they're not dead. That's just like, that's cold-blooded for me right there. No pun intended. But because how we talked about it may be a dimensional type thing or a different realm type thing. It's one of those things, it's kind of like that, you know, the different sides of a mirror. It's kind of like one of those things. Maybe the way we're perceived is the same way we perceive them. We see them as shadows, we can't understand them, they scare the crap out of us. Maybe for them, they're wanting to make contact or wanting to understand us, but because on their side of things, how they see us, maybe it's almost the same thing with them. They're frustrated because they're talking to us, but we can't understand them. So it's like they're facing the same issues we're facing, but it just scares the crap out of us more because we're in the actual physical living reality as to being in their dimensional reality that we know nothing of.
So basically, when you're like looking into the mirror and on the other side, it's reversed.
Exactly. So they're seeing us the same way we're seeing them. That's why they're getting frustrated because they're trying to either get their point across or make contact, or probably purposely, if they're a malevolent spirit, they're probably purposely trying to cause harm to us. But the fact that they can't do it full on is the same way like with us. We're still trying to figure out how they came about, what they are, why they're here, what they're doing. But because neither one of us on the opposite sides can actually answer that because it's not coming through clearly on either end, that's what's causing the frustration on everything.
All right.
Like roles reversed pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question. How do shadow people affect the living realm compared to the dream realm?
Ooh, I got this one since I wrote it.
Alright.
Alright, here you go. You heard Chira. She said, how do shadow people affect the living realm compared to the dream realm? Well, this was my answer on it. We believe in a matter of observation. So it's pretty much how you're observing it. How our realm, the living realm, works and operates compared to how the dream realm works, which is, you know, it can be dream realm, it can be negative realm, however which way you want to say it. An example of that's like, you know, hell, the underworld, purgatory, whatever that may be is what I'm conveying to you, right? It could be a possible plan for an overthrow of our world or a wished merger to absorb our existence and adapt it in a world where they can finally have permission to cross realms, right? Because for so long it's been banned or difficult for either side to successfully make that merge come across.
You know what that sounds like?
What?
A TV series that everybody needs to watch if y'all have not watched it already. None other than Fringe with Joshua Jackson.
I never seen that show. A lot of people tell me.
Oh my god, what you are saying actually happened in Fringe. They had another complete world different from their world, and they merged a bridge to where those people from that realm could cross over into their realm and vice versa.
Well, so did Star Trek, and I'm not giving Fringe credit for any of it because I've never seen the show, and that was all me.
Well, you need to see it.
Nope.
Yes.
When I feel good and ready to. It just doesn't catch my attention.
But anyways, moving along.
Okay.
Interdimensional travelers.
Okay, now that's some straight up Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, Andromeda, Stargate, and straight up Twilight Zone sounding stuff.
Yes, some say that the following are travelers from another dimension sent here to observe us. Kind of like the TV series Fringe, where they had observers come in and observe, the human beings just to make sure that things, happened right on schedule.
That sounds kind of freaky.
Yes. And
maybe I'll watch. Maybe.
You need to. Once you watch just one episode, you will be hooked. hooked and wanting to watch more.
Maybe.
Okay, so the following are benign shadows, negative shadows, red-eyed shadows, hooded shadows, and the Hat Man, which I said earlier that I would give a description on these guys. Okay, so the first one being benign shadows. Shadow people that seem to travel briefly through a person's life. I saw these entities as a child. They appear to walk through with purpose through my room, never acknowledging me and never straying from their path. I never felt an unholy fear, just the fear of watching a dark human-shaped trespasser walk past my bed.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to sleep comfortably if I saw a full-figured human black shadow walk completely across me in a dark house.
Right? Okay,
I'm like, there has to be a light source somewhere because you shouldn't be walking around there. I shouldn't be able to see you in the dark first off.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one, negative shadows. Although these shadow people tend to simply lurk, they are associated with a feeling of unnatural terror.
Yeah, seeing shadows is not normal, aside from the one that you cast. I just pointed that out, like, if you guys are in a dark room, or you're in a place that has, like, no freaking mirrors and no light source, and there's a shadow, like, literally in front of you, and it could be going like, hey, you're gonna jump out your skin, trust me.
Red-eye shadows. These entities are always negative, but stare at experiencers with blazing red eyes. Victims often say that they feel this creature fed from their fear.
Red eyes? Yeah, I'd be scared shitless too. That's like, there's red eyes over there. Now see, for a funny, little funny fact here for you guys, so you can laugh at me, because you guys like to do it, which I don't understand why. It's being mean. I don't know if it's happened to Chira, but it's happened to me a couple different times. Yeah, and I think I've said it in a former episode too. There's been many a time when I was younger, I would get up to go use the restroom, only to be greeted in the middle of the night when I woke up, and as I walk down my dark hallway, or whatever the case may be to get to my bathroom, I see a set of glowing eyes out of nowhere. And I go, ah! And I stop and realize going, damn it, it's my freaking cat. Get out of here, you!
Okay, I have one even better for you. My mom picked me and my little brother up from daycare, and it was late at night. And she's backing up from the driveway, driving away from the daycare center. All of a sudden, I see these two glowing red eyes in the middle of the dark by the daycare center.
They better have been brake lights.
But the thing is, the daycare center was like in the middle of nowhere.
Or a possum. They have red eyes. Like, it better have been a possum. Or a raccoon or something.
I don't know, but all I saw was two glowing red eyes, and it freaked me out.
Oh, I'm telling you, my cat, I'm surprised he lived, because there was a couple different times, like, before my brain could sit there and go, dude, it's just your cat. I was like kicking and somebody like going, I was like, no! Ooh, I hear my cat. I'm like, oh, damn, it's the cat. My bad, dude. I'm sorry. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You gotta stay asleep at night. You can't be looking at me in the middle of the night, scare me like that. Can't do that, man.
Yeah. The next one, hooded shadows. Dressed as an ancient monk, people who encounter these shadow people fear a deep rage bubbling behind the black cowl. Now, the hooded shadows, I know that's kind of a little hard to interpret, but the hooded shadows are what a lot of people have said, like Grim Reapers.
I can see that. I wouldn't say, okay, here I'm going to go again off on one of my nerd tangents. I would say it's almost like a mix of two different things. Mm-hmm. You have and I forgot the name of them, you'll probably know. They're almost like Grim Reapers, but they're those big shadow figures from the Harry Potter movies.
I know what you're talking about. Dementors.
Dementors, okay?
Yeah.
And then the same type are also in The Lord of the Rings.
I'm sorry, I can't help you there. Never saw the series.
For me, I would say the hooded shadows for myself are not Dementors. They're not, I would simply class them, and this is me going off my own tirade, should I say. I would refer to them as, they come across me as like overseers. They're the ones that just, figuratively, they're the shadow and they just kick back and they are watching over everything from a distance. Mm-hmm. Now, if they're close enough for you to be able to hear this deep bubbling rage or feel this deep bubbling rage, that means they've come down for a closer look, and no, I would be afraid. I'd be screaming, 3 foot roll, 3 foot roll, back up.
Yeah. Okay, so the last one, they iconic iconic man himself, the Hat Man. This entity is most curious, dressed in a fedora and sometimes appearing to wear an old-time business suit. The Hat Man appears to people and cultures across the planet. Now, what I've read about the Hat Man, he could be dressed in so many different outfits, like business suits, cowboy. If you're on our blog, if you scroll down, you'll see my links. And then after my links, you will see the title that says a must-read articles. Now, all of those articles right there that are in between Richard's links and my links, you really need to absolutely read those articles, because I read those articles in depth and they go into more depth about these people that we're talking about, and especially about the Hat Man.
I'm starting to wonder, just by how you described him, if he kind of sounds like he's metaphorically projected that way, because and it's so funny because it's so close to it, it's probably the same thing. But when people say, you've done a deal with the devil, you signed yourself over, this and that, whenever people reference that, you automatically get that mental image of these greedy corporate people in their suit and ties and stuff like this. Another reason why I don't like wearing suit and ties, because for me it has a false representation of who you are.
Devil's advocate.
That has that same feeling. Maybe it's this projected image that we're so used to that he comes across this way, so we can get a general understanding of why he's there. He's like the contractor. He's the guy. He's technically the spiritual shadow lawyer. He's there to see what's going on, survey it, send out his minions, the paralegals in this point. Oh, I can't believe I'm I can't believe I'm referencing lawyers and stuff. This is truly epic for me. So he's sending them out to get information about whoever the unfortunate person is, the victim is of experiencing this, to gauge how far it's going to go. If they're going to fully torment this person, if they're only going to momentarily see them, or if it's going to be a continued series of things going on like this. But for me, like you said, it sounds very like a play on that, devil's advocate, lawyers,
Ghost
something
Rider,
along those lines. For me, it sounds like very close to that.
Yeah. Okay, so I looked up a poll for you guys, and I managed to get 3 different polls for you guys. First one, does shadow people exist? 96 of you guys said yes, and 4% of you guys said no. And for the 96% of you guys, which this all includes full body or partial body apparitions, EVP, which is electronic voice phenomenon, cold spots, which are an area of localized coldness or sudden decrease of ambient temperature, black shadow-like figures, often referred to as shadow people. Poltergeist activities involves an inanimate object moving or being thrown about, erratic noises, and physical attacks on the living.
Okay, 96% said yes. All of you are badass, that's all I'm saying. I love that. And the 4% of you who said no, you a bunch of lying you-know-whats.
Okay, so the next poll. What do you think shadow people are? 40% said ghosts or spirits, 10% said demons, 10% said time travelers from another dimension, and 40% said not sure, but I have seen one or more shadow people.
Well, at least that's fair enough. 40% don't really know, understand, or how to gauge it, but they verify that they've seen it, even though 40% are saying ghosts or spirits. So it's kind of cool. That's pretty level.
Yeah. And this last poll, do you believe in ghosts and the paranormal? 90% said yes, I do, and 10% said no, I've never seen a ghost or experienced paranormal activity.
Well, of course, you know what I'm going to say. 90% of y'all, yes. Congratulations, you are in the classification of being a fellow freak.
Long live the freaks!
Yes, and the 10% of y'all, I'm sorry your lives are that boring. Sorry, I had to point that out. Because, I mean, if you're not seeing that, that means you must have some really horrible and boring dreams.
Mm-hmm.
You must go to sleep dreaming about what you're going to do for the next day in work. That's horrible.
Yes, and here's something for all y'all skeptics out there. Weird stuff. 10 scientific explanations for ghostly phenomenons. Now, this article was written by Nolan Ross on September 30th of last year. According to a 2005 poll, 37% of Americans believe in haunted houses, and according to a 2013 Post poll, 40% believe in ghosts. There are surprising numbers, but the next time you hear a spooky sound, don't call the Ghostbusters. Get a scientist instead. Behind every shadow, poltergeist, and disembodied voice, there's a perfectly rational explanation. And there are 10 things here, and it is 1. Electronic stimulation of the brain. 2. Iodometer effect.
Yeah, iodometer effect.
3. Infrasound. 4. Automatism. 5. Drafts. 6. Camera issues. 7. Carbon monoxide poisoning. 8. Mass hysteria. 9. Ions. And 10. Quantum mechanics. And I gave you guys a link to read about the explanations on these 10 facts. Because
they still left one out.
What?
I'm going to give you guys number 11, even though it's not on there. They still left one out. Number 11. Despite the fact that they're trying to explain to you that it could be explained scientifically, it could be the fact that you just truly did see some spooky stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be on.
Yes, definitely. Now, going on for our critics pick of the week for Shadow People.
I said, wait. I got it further. Just before you get to critics pick, I got it. Got it for the scientific one. Got it, man. A scientific explanation can simply give you an answer as to why or how it happened, but it can't give you an answer to what you experienced. Ah, yes. 2 different sides of a coin right there. They can tell you how it happened and why it happened, but they can't tell you what it was you experienced, because only you know that.
Yes.
There. Mind blown. Boom.
So, it looks like that we are a little bit short on time, so let's cram into, what time we have left to give you guys more information. Okay, so for critics pick for Shadow People, number 1, Shadow People 2013 film with Dallas Roberts as Charlie Crow. At the bottom of the blog, I gave a explanation about this film. Number 2, Shadow People, The Finding by Joe Robinson. It's a book. I suggest y'all go read it. Number 3, Extreme Ghost Stories, Paranormal Documentary Series. I suggest you go see that TV series. Another good TV series is Deadbeat, Canadian TV series on Hulu.com. Go check it out. You'll laugh your butt off. Number 5, Ghost with Patrick Swayze. And number 6, Ghostbusters.
The last 2, definite clacks. You guys should have already seen them. If not, you got homework.
Definitely. There are 3 videos here. Not the first one. It's actually the second one here. It's Shadow People Curse by Nice Pasta. So with that being said, just go check it out on our blog. And then underneath those 3 videos. Okay, so the first video is Shadow People in 1997 Emerson. Now that video is really creepy. Now the Shadow People Curse by Nice Pasta, that's again creepy. And then the third one, Shadow People Real Ghost Stories. It's a document on how this girl gives her side of the story on what she saw when she was a little girl. I suggest you all go and watch this document. And then underneath that, it gives you guys my links, and then a must-read articles, and then Richard's links, and then after that is the thing that I told you guys about for the Shadow People film. I gave you guys a synopsis of the film, so go read that more in depth. And then if you're interested, go and watch the movie. I think We're making that on an awesome time here.
Yep, we're approaching 58 minutes, but you guys got the full details. You got the info. You got the links. You got the blog. You got everything you need. So feel free to check it out, look it over, take a read, watch the YouTube videos, check out our Facebook page. You guys know the routine. Go over all that good stuff and enjoy it. Until next episode, I'm Richard Zom.
And I'm Chira.
And we are
the Chira Project.
See you later, people.
Peace and love.
Well, that's all the time that we have. But join us again next week where things just might get weird.